I am live on all the things now. Oh my god. I am so tired. My goodness. Thank you, Janelle. Yeah, my sister and my cousin came to visit me this weekend, and we had a really good time. It was wild, like to hang out with each other, like with no kids, like you know what I mean? Because we usually have babies or things that we have to do with like other family and stuff. So it was really cool to just have some girl time, just to hang. That's right, because you're not working at work anymore. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, we had a fun time, but I am real tired. It was a very social weekend for me. I think on like Thursday, they got here Thursday night, and I think we went to bed at 1:30 in the morning, and I was like, "Whoa, this is gonna be crazy." And I was rolling all the way through until like 11 o'clock on Sunday. So I do be tired. Hi, Cindy. Um, oh, and you know what else is weird? I didn't get to see you on Friday. So, so much has happened because we've had like basically a whole week since we've last talked to each other. So, what's up? Like, how's it hanging over there? How has your week been? Hello, Angie. Hello, Angie. Hi, Suzette. Hi, Anna. Hi, Yvonne. We're about to be rolling into this new moon. So, there's that happening. And crazy enough, we're in May, like it's May 6th now. And I'm curious if May has been for you as like kind of weird as it's been for me, like really serious energy shifts, it feels like, um, since we've hit May. Like I know specifically for some of you, it's very true because you're here around me. But how about the rest of you? How's May treating you so far? Hi, Maggie. Hi, Sarah. And it says, yes, May has been weird. Busy. Okay. It's been very odd feeling. Some things are just falling away. Interesting. My uncle died. Very sad, but inspiring and clarifying in that way grief is. Oh, Beth, I understand what you mean. Doesn't necessarily make it easier or less sad, but I understand what you mean. Sarah says it's just crazy windy in Colorado, so that affects energies too. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it so does. It so does. And over here, the Benay and Divi, I'm sorry if I'm butchering whatever that is, Benay and Divi, says, yes, some things are just falling away. Maggie's also saying things are falling away, a blend of discomfort and understanding. Absolutely. Hi, Angie. We switched your spots. Hi, Valerie. So yeah, it definitely feels different. I started May last Wednesday by going to court with my ex. And I've had a week, almost a week now to kind of, well, I haven't had a lot of time to sit with it, but I've definitely discussed it and thought about it. Um, and it was such an interesting time because I wasn't expecting to be cross examined for 3 hours and have like my entire 14-year marriage just kind of like pivoted and dissected in a way that was meant to portray me as a person who shouldn't be receiving support. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It was really weird. But it was so fascinating to hear my ex sit on a stand under oath and just lie. Like, just make things up and try to sound sympathetic, and to watch him, like, crumble under scrutiny because he doesn't like to be asked questions too many times, all those kind of things. And you know how when you're with somebody in a relationship, because I think a lot of us have done this in the past, right? Hopefully we're healing from it, but you are hyper vigilant with other people's energy and like facial expressions and tones of voice, especially with your partner, because you've learned, right, that it's kind of like your job to help them present themselves in the best light, to moderate their emotions, to just keep things safe and calm and moving in the right direction. And I was sitting there, not allowed to speak because it wasn't my turn to speak. And I was having all those feelings because I was watching his tells, like, his like brow would start to furrow, and I was like, uh-oh, like he's getting stressed. He's gonna like pop off and say some dumb shit. Like, I should do XYZ to make sure, like, all those different things. And it was such an interesting experience to not be that person anymore. Like, it's not my job. And to just see what happens if he's allowed to just be who he is without me caretaking his optics for him. And he ended up, at least in my opinion, really looking insane and unhinged. And it was really wild to me because, this is somebody I was with, met him when I was 21 years old, and I'm 40 now. So I had an opinion of him for most of my young life, right? Of who he was and how I trusted him and all those different things. And it's interesting to just kind of look at him with this perspective now. I haven't lived with him for a little over a year, and just be like, wow, like, you're not really that interesting. Not really that interesting, you know? Chris says, "Well, I didn't realize that was hypervigilance." Noted. Yes, it is. It's so interesting that we find ourselves in a space where we learn about being empaths, and then we start to learn about how, you kind of get conditioned to read everybody's energies so that you can understand how to be safe in your life, right? And how to navigate your world, and it can get out of control because then you don't allow people to actually express themselves fully either, right? Because you're trying to create a safe environment for yourself, or at least a known environment for yourself. And it is interesting what happens when you're no longer there to do that for them. So that was really wild for me to start this month off in that energy, and to realize that, like, nothing is what I thought it was? It's pretty crazy. So it's been an interesting month so far, and I'm okay with it. I feel like I'm pretty tired, but I'm feeling pretty solid as well. And you guys probably remember how I was like not sure about what I was doing in my life and like in my business. Like, I was just feeling really disconnected and like freaking out about it a lot. I feel okay now. So I think we may have gone over the hump with that. I think I do know what I'm doing, and have I have a reason for what I'm doing. There's been a lot of things coming up lately that are kind of reaffirming the direction I'm taking. So I think it's gonna be okay. But it's also like the world is falling apart in like a very weird, insidious type of way. Um, so this isn't where I talk about that. But if you're interested in having those conversations, maybe think about joining the Normalized Magic Workshop. We will be enrolling for that again in a couple of weeks. I think we have 3 more sessions left in this season. And then we will be starting a workshop again. And yeah, we miss you, Angie. So if you are ready to rejoin for the summer, I guess, will it be summer then? You can just let me know. I will, when it's time to enroll, I will send out obviously an email if you're on my email list, that you can do that. Get the band back together again. So anyway, we're here for Coffee Magic, so let's do that vibe. I'm going to give you 3 things, and you choose which one feels most aligned with you this morning, and that will correspond to your pull. I am pulling from the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed, and the 3 things are 3 different pinks. Well, don't I hope you don't argue with me in this. Maybe I'll just say 3 different colors because I feel like if I say pinks, we might have an argument. So 3 different colors, okay? Hot pink, fuchsia, and magenta. Hot pink, fuchsia, and magenta. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Hmm. You make your decisions while I drink some of this coffee. It's very good today. I feel like I'm too close to my desk. Hot pink, fuchsia, magenta. That was the order I did it, right? Hot pink, fuchsia, and magenta. Those are your choices. Hot pink, fuchsia, magenta. Coffee and Magic is on at the wrong time of day for you to see a snake because they like to sleep during the day and especially the morning. And but if we were doing this at 9 o'clock at night, Gloria would probably be here because she has been very into coming out around 9 o'clock. She just like starts hovering at the top of the cage, and I'm like, okay, let's come on out. She's so freaking cute. So freaking cute. Okay. So hot pink, fuchsia, and magenta. Hot pink, fuchsia, magenta. Here we go. Tell me when you're ready for hot pink. This is my filter, but it is rather warm here. um, Gloria, hopefully, if she decides to start eating, she could get allegedly up to 5 feet long because she's a female ball python and they get larger than the males. So she could end up being a really big girl. And right now she's the tiniest little noodle. Like she's 103 grams. So and she hasn't eaten yet. And we have a few other concerns with her as well. But I'm just gonna hope that she is gonna be fine. So anyway, hot pink, fuchsia, magenta. This is your hot pink. You have cow, disruption, and the wind fairy. Holy shit with this one. This one isn't very stay still calm vibes at all, is it? So here's your story. You have the cow disruption and the wind fairy for my hot pink friends. Something has happened, obviously, that has disrupted you, shifted you onto a different path. Okay. And if you want to think about maybe a metaphor or like a visualization for this, not a metaphor. Did you ever play Donkey Kong? Donkey Kong, whatever, Donkey Kong. You know what I'm talking about. Where you would like be in the little. There was that level that you would be in that little miner's cart, and you'd be like jumping tracks, and like whew, you know what I mean? Like catch bananas and like all that stuff. And it's very stressful because the tracks like started off like normal and then they would just be like little pieces. And then you jump to this one and that one. You're like, oh shit, like don't die, like that kind of thing. So this is kind of the vibes of that, where it's like you're on this track. You were on this track and like you were moving already, like you were moving on this track, and then something happened, right? Boom, shifted you into a different track, and now you're going on that. And it has a vibe of like, when am I going to be able to stop and reassess? Right? Like, when am I going to be able to stop and like sit with this for a minute, as they say? Let's sit with it for a minute. You ain't sitting with nothing for a minute, right? Like that's kind of the trend right now. Like there isn't really any space for you to sit with anything for a minute because nothing really is sitting for a minute to be seen or felt. It just is moving. So what does that mean? What do we do with this energy that is not allowing us to treat it the way we feel most comfortable treating it, right? Like when a big shift happens, when a big change happens, like you want to just do how you want to do. You want to take a little time to sit with it and not make a quick decision and like all the things, right? And that is not what's happening here, friend. What's happening here is something else. And likely because this has been a long time coming. But I guess that's another story. We have the wind fairy and the cow. The cow is like, just let yourself receive it. Stop chasing shit, right? Like, this is such a hard one to talk about because until you're ready to just lose all your fucks, this is a hard one to implement in your life because we have been so trained that if you want to receive something, if you want something, you have to go get it, right? You have to go grab it and pull it in. You have to chase it. You have to get it, like that kind of thing, as opposed to this very lazy way of just embodying the vibrations you wish to embody and allowing them to just find you, right? If you don't believe that is possible, then obviously it's not going to be. But at some point, I think we all just get just tired enough of our own bullshit, right? That we let it happen for a minute and then it's like, oh God, it's working. And then you're like, fine, right? You know what I mean? So there's that. And then we're not done. Then you have the wind fairy. And this is actually very important to note as you are um, like bopping around on this cart. Think of your thoughts, your words, and the actual process by which you create thoughts as the controller in Donkey Kong that has the button that makes you jump, that chooses when you jump. Are you with me so far? Did everybody play Donkey Kong? And why is that like is that something that's not helpful for you, or do you know what I mean? Because like I really liked that game. Um, think of again, think of your thoughts, the way you think, and your words as the button that makes the cart jump. Okay? So it's your controller. So all of this stuff is happening right now, right? And you're like, what do I do? Like, how do I, blah, 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 what about money, blah, 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 right? Your thoughts cause the leap. And if your thoughts are shitty poo poo caca, that's the kind of jumps you're going to be having. Poopy ones, sewer type, right? If your thoughts are like, well, I just got rerouted and I'm going to try a new way of thinking about this. Just for shits and giggles, of course, because that's how we do things. But I'm going to think about this differently. I'm going to actually speak about my situation and myself with respect, kindness, and reverence. And that's coming through specifically. So maybe that's for somebody because um, that's what it feels. I thought when I started saying this that I was going to be a little bit more directive, but it's not. It's about how you think and speak about yourself. So the situation can be weird and uncomfortable. That doesn't really matter. How do you think of yourself in the situation, right? Do you treat yourself with respect, reverence, compassion, right? Do you think highly of yourself? That's what we want to be looking at here. That's the button we need to be pushing. Okay. So, anyhow, that is your very loaded hot pink for this morning. Mm, mm. Yes, exactly, Angie. Same, same. That'll work too. All right. So that was your hot pink. We've got fuchsia and magenta next. Good morning. fuchsia and magenta are your next choices. If hot pink, you think that's for you and you missed it, you can watch the replay um, on YouTube or on Instagram as soon as we're done. If you would like to donate to Coffee and Magic, you can do that by clicking on the link in my bio on Instagram or TikTok, or just going to my website and scrolling all the way down. You are welcome. You are choosing from the colors fuchsia or magenta. We just did hot pink, and fuchsia and magenta will correspond to the set of cards that come out that might have a message for you. If you want to listen to just all of them and just, cherry pick what works for you, you can also do that. That's totally fine. Hi, Jen. But this one here is going to be fuchsia. All right, so before I get to fuchsia, do you guys remember last week at this time when we did the polls that were like your vibes for May? Do you remember that? Do you remember which card was the common denominator for all three of the polls for the month of May? Do you remember that? And don't worry, because I do know. So I'm not asking like in like the way that I do sometimes where like I don't have a recollection. I do know. But I want to know if you know. There we go. Partnership. In all three polls for the month of May, the one like the denominator in all three of those polls was the partnership card. Okay. So I'm bringing you back to that vibe of whatever message you may have received that was your vibe for the month of May. Okay. So like just have that in your brain if it was available to you. So this is going to be your fuchsia. You got partnership, obviously. The frog, also probably obviously, and wealth. Okay. So fuchsia is bringing us back to this idea of connection with others. And what does that mean? We are really, as a society, hyper focused on romantic partnerships, right? Life partnerships, but romantic life partnerships. I invite you, if this has been a fuchsia moment for you, and maybe if it's not, I invite you to open up your mind to the concept of partnerships expanding beyond romance. And what does that mean for you? Can you have significant, important, affirming, nutritive partnerships that have nothing to do with touching each other's private parts or making a lifelong romantic commitment to each other or any of those things? Is that possible? Like, can you open your mind up to allow others in that way? A lot of us have partnership roles that are open for us, right? Some of us have mom roles that are open for us, like because we may not have a mother who fulfills what we believe a mother should be in our lives for us, right? So when you have an idea of who someone should be for you and you've identified them as that person, but they are not able to fulfill that job, right? That space, that person for you. They can't be that role for you, but you still cling to the fact that they're supposed to be. That creates this perpetual emptiness, right? And searching, but not really searching because you're not looking. But you feel this like, I don't have this. I wish I had this, but this is the person who should be giving it to me, and they're not. So I'm lacking that in my life. Do you see where I'm going with this? Do you know what I mean? We're so rigid in who is allowed to sit in certain spaces in our lives that we need. What if the mother energy that you so desperately crave is available to you in the form of an absolutely amazing friend, right? What if there is a friend in your life who actually does mother the fuck out of you in a way that feels safe and beautiful and healing, but you haven't recognized that that is what this is because she's not your actual mother. So you're not allowing that love and nourishment to fill the mother part that you need, right? We're just focused on the woman who birthed you who literally cannot figure this one out, right? So, with that being said, partnerships for fuchsia are it's asking you to really look at the wealth of energies that are around you, the abundance of energies that are around you that you could have if you allowed yourself to perceive them a little bit differently. Okay. And not be so stubbornly stuck on specific roles for specific people, having to be this, having to be that, like all those different things, right? Simultaneously, our little ribbit is here. He's frogging around and he is reminding you that no matter how brilliant your thoughts and ideas are and what you're going to do and all the things, if you have not moved out the junk, you will not have the new stuff be able to land because it literally cannot physically fit there. So, whatever you're still holding on to, thinking like, oh, maybe I'll use this Tupperware one day, like whatever it is, don't worry about it. Let it go, right? Clear it out. Clear, 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 clear. You'd be amazed how fast you can accumulate a bunch of shit. Okay. So, trust me. I mean, but you know this yourself. You can clear everything out in 6 months. You'll be like, my God, where did all this stuff come from? That's just life, right? So don't worry about it. But there's some old stuff that might need some clearing that will help you see this a little more clearly. So that is your fuchsia. The next one is magenta. I want to address this comment really quickly. This comment says, made that mistake. She ended up being more toxic than my actual mother. I want to address this because there's something really important to understand about relationships. If you have not done the work for yourself to be able to no longer need codependent connections, right? You're feeling you're feeling like I'm good. You will attract people who are in that space as well, right? But if you are looking for someone to fulfill a role for you in kind of a codependent type of way, of course you're going to have a similar situation. Do you know what I mean? Like all of our relationships can only be as heightened as we allow ourselves to be. So we are always in a place of evolving. So that's good, right? We live, we learn. But if you are still in that space of like needing, it's possible that you would then find somebody who is just as toxic. Do you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Hey Beth. All right. This is going to be magenta. That's me spitting facts this morning, dropping that hot coffee. All right. Tell me when you're ready for this one. Angie. I don't even know what's going on with you right now, Angie, because I haven't seen you in a while. Okay, so anyway, here's your magenta. We'll start on this end. Movement, letting go, death card. Ah! Oh my God. Ah! Okay. So did you get that? Do I need to say anything or do you already know? Okay, so here's again, in case you didn't catch that. It's movement, death, and letting go. I guess this could be in any order you feel like it. Movement, letting go, death, movement, death, moving, letting go. Okay, so here is the story from my magenta friends. It's like such a obvious story, so I could literally just say it like this. Something has completely ended. Please let it go. It's time to move on, right? We could just have that sentence. Do you like that sentence, or like do you feel like you need a little bit more of a philosophical touch on this? Something has ended. Let it go. Time to move on. That's one part or one way to say it. The other way to say it is this. When the death card comes, it means this does not need another go. You have used every last bit of this energy up for you. Energy doesn't end. That's not how it goes, but it does end for you. Do you know what I mean? Like this energy needs to go somewhere else, and you are holding it here because you don't want to be done with it for reasons that are your own business, honestly. But when you hold on to an energy that's not meant to be with you any longer, right? And you do this is the death card, that means you are holding up the works, the process, the movement for not only you, but for whoever it is you're holding on to and whatever it is you're holding on to, because that energy is supposed to be somewhere else. So it does this suck? No, actually. I know you kind of want me to be like, this sucks. It's like, but it really doesn't. This has been inevitable and really fucking obvious to you. So like I don't mean to be like harsh or anything, but you've probably had this message given to you in a much less harsh way many, many, many times, right? So maybe you need to just have a simple sentence sometimes. It's like, just like knock it off, dude. Like, let's go. Let's go, right? Because you had it dressed up and pretty, you had it whispered to you, you had a little tap on the shoulder, you had, signs in the stars, like whatever it is you needed, you have had the gentle version of this over and over and over again. And sometimes we don't like it gentle. Sometimes we need it a little rough, a little bit of nicely placed chokes. You know what I'm saying? So like just understand that this is not bad at all. This is everything you want fast. So don't fight the feeling. Don't lock your knees. Just let it happen. And this time, you don't even really have to do anything. Like, all you need to do is not like do anything about, you know what I mean? Like, just like hands up, hands up, just let it go. Just hands up, just distract yourself with something like, get a fidget spinner. Like, do not touch this. Let it fucking go. It is so dead, dude. So dead. And on the other side of this is fast movement. Okay. And I think that is also a little scary to you. I think you know that. I think you know that the moment you truly are like, fine, I'm done, things are going to move so fast. And maybe that scares you. Maybe that scares you. But guess what? Like, whatever. Like, what hasn't scared us? And here we are still, right? We've lived through a pandemic that maybe is still happening. That the world is literally crumbling around us. Our country is at war with itself and others. Democracy is a joke. Like, don't worry about it. This is the least of your problems. You know what I'm saying? So like just let yourself be swept up in the inevitable flow. You're going to be very happy with where you end up on the other side of it. And you are very supported in this. Okay. So just, all right, enough, because this is not a like, let's ease into it. You probably got the let's ease into it version about 8 months ago, right? So, anyhow, that's your coffee and magic this morning. It looks like we have very specific themes we're working with, very pink and bubbly. Love it for us. And I hope that you love it for you, honestly, because it sounds like, based off of these cards today, that we all have a lot of stuff happening for us. And the only thing we need to do is stop getting in our own way about it, right? And just like let it happen finally. So maybe we can all commit collectively to giving that a shot this week and seeing how it goes. And if we don't like it, we can change our tune next week, you know? So I'll be back on Friday, which will then be like halfway through this month, which is freaking crazy. If you'd like to donate to Coffee and Magic, you can do that by going to the link in my bio on Instagram or TikTok. If you are interested in joining the Normalized Magic workshop, where we talk about all of these things even more deep in depth, you can send me an email, send me a DM. We will start enrolling for that in about 2 weeks. So, something to think about. Loving you guys. I'll see you at 10 on Friday. It was so good to see you, Angie. Sending you lots and lots of love. And have a good rest of your week. I will see my Normalized Magic friends on Wednesday night at 7:30. And again, thank you for being here and supporting me with your energies. Love you guys. Excuse me.